Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobby Richardson. Today, we are going to talk about the source of all things. And this is a message that came through the Cyanians. So I'm just going to relay it to you. This message is about source energy. So when I had the experience of actually meeting source energy, I saw a massive Taurus energy, and it started off with a ball of love, just white light that just exploded into all trillions of different source lines that came down and then out and then around and then back into itself again. So there was this release, and then there was a consuming, so it came back into itself and then redeveloped itself and then moved back out again. And they have told me, the Cyanians have told me, that everything that is living on earth has this Taurus energy within it. Whether that's a bug, a tree will have its trunk that goes down to the roots, and it will suck up its nutrients and it will drop its leaves. So it goes backwards to what I saw, because I saw humanity's consciousness going this way. They said it can go backwards, sideways. It can even do a loop. In other words, you could have an animal that's got a tube that sucks in one way and then does a U-turn and then spits it out the other. But either or, whatever way it has created itself or bended itself, or whether it's on its side like a bug would be, or an animal, whether it's half in the earth, there is always this consuming and releasing and consuming and releasing. And that is the source of all things. And they were telling me that everything from that source starts to develop its own program through its voyage, its journey to create. And whether that creation comes from a restriction of some sort that it had to bend to be able to move through it, or whether it is because it just literally wanted to explode and create, as like a tree would. But they were telling me that everything starts off with this consuming and releasing, and humanity has blocked this within themselves, which is another reason why we are imbalanced. So we have been only focusing in on consuming, and through that journey of learning how to consume, we ended up blocking ourselves from the release. So I'll give you an example of that. Humanity just consumes a lot of stuff and they hold on to it. And they do that because they have a fear of their reality. There's an imbalance there where they're not trusting themselves. And so because they don't trust themselves, they don't trust their outside reality. So they buy and they consume and they hold on to and they won't let go. But the natural order of things is to use this beautiful world of existence, this great big ball of consuming and releasing, of source energy, of love going on a journey. We are supposed to use it as a playground. It's not something to hold on to and fixate and say, this is ours, no one else can have it. That's where the blockages are coming from. So when we're in natural give and take or give and flow with the world, with the universe that's outside of us, We can take something and use it, and then when we don't need it, we let it go, trusting that if in the future it has to come back to us, we will receive it again. And that is the natural order of this flow of energy that comes and goes throughout all life form. And that comes from trusting yourself, which means you're trusting your outside reality to give you the same reflection as what source energy's journey goes on, which is love going on a journey. Love does not hold on to something. Love does not try to control anything. It doesn't stock it over there to save it or anything like that. It just, you could use something for as long as you need. You could know that the winter is coming, and so you stock up for a bit for that winter. But if you don't release it, if you don't allow things to flow, and allow people to come and go and take what they need and then drop what they don't and all that sort of stuff, then the whole of humanity becomes very stuck in a mental block of wanting to fixate on over consuming, and this becomes greed. So then we're no longer releasing, so we're no longer saying to the universe that it has a chance to what would you call that? It has a chance to give out what's needed for others to use, and then the flow of energy comes and goes. We're no longer trusting the flow of life, so we're no longer trusting source energy, which means we're no longer trusting ourselves. This is going to be a transition that humanity is going to have to go through, and an understanding of realizing through their own self-compassion and awareness of who they are in the whole journey, in this whole beautiful world, to be able to play with it as a playground, to be able to take things as we need, to be able to knock down all the fences, and recognize that we can, jump on a horseback and gallop as far as we want. We can run through the trees if we want. There's no limitations on this playground, that Earth becomes the whole playground for all of humanity to do as they want when they want. And we cannot have that if we are constantly fencing up everything, consuming everything, stockpiling everything, and making sure, from season to seasons can be understandable, but not for, 10 years and 20 years and so forth. There will be a stuckness that happens. And the stuckness also comes in with, this is why we're constantly wanting to consume food and so forth. It's like this natural, this kind of ugly wanting to fill ourselves. And yet we are not releasing enough for things to flow. It all comes down to trust in the end, and becoming aware of yourself as source energy. So we are all this Taurus energy, we consume, we've got that whole Taurus, we've got a esophagus that goes down and then it all comes out. And we all, we trust that the world is going to supply us with food again, and then we bring it back in, and there's this natural, beautiful energy that will flow through us. But there's a problem when it comes to not releasing energy, which means we get stuck in our body. It gets stuck in our body, stored up in our body. Our body starts to hold on to everything, even if it is tension and so forth. We're constantly tense because we're constantly trying to carry something that we should have released a long time ago. That's how stress works. So when we learn to release just as much as we allow to come into our lives, we're now trusting the ebb and flow of life. We're trusting love. We're trusting source energy. It was a big message there. I hope I'm explaining this right. So anything else? Yeah, a tree just allows for itself to drop its leaves. It allows for its fruit to just drop and then fall to the ground and grow wherever it wants to grow, wherever the wind takes it. It doesn't have a control over its children. It doesn't have a control over any of it. It allows expansion. And that's another thing that they're bringing me to, because of the stuckness that we've had. We've been trying to control our children, and then our children feel like they need to control somebody else in order to fit into the society. And then we all end up just trying to control each other. But the natural order of everything is trust. If love went on a journey and then on that journey, halfway, it just decided, I don't trust this journey anymore, it would get stuck where it is. And it would be too scared to flow back up into itself. So this is really a journey at the moment, a self-discovery within humanity's understanding that they are a whole and that they can trust the give and take of all things, to use this beautiful world as a playground, to no longer need to store, to hold on to everything. It's not to say that you don't build a house and for the rest of your life you live in that house. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's something that's needed for your life, then so be it. But there are things out there that we do not need all the time for the rest of our lives. There are things in our world that we can allow to share and trust that if we need it, it will always come back to us. If you are in the wholeness of yourself, you can lose nothing. Everything that you need in your energy field will come back to you. Cyanians are asking us to just trust. Trust that we can let go enough to let the flow happen again and let our beautiful world become a playground instead of a jail, a fenced up world that divides, where one has to try to conquer another, where there's no faith. And this is all going to happen in unison as we start to clear and clear more and more of ourselves, and the wisdom starts to pour through and the messages start to come out, and we start to go aha moments like, oh my God, I get that now. And then we start to move towards it, and we might get stuck again, and then we come back. All of that, it's all part of the story. But the most important thing is to remember that we are moving here on a journey of learning to become unstuck. And that is going to release so much more. And then we're going to find Earth is a playground. She is not a prison. She is not something that we have to be afraid of anymore. And the freedom of that. And then money wouldn't even be needed, because we know 100% through the abundance of who we are, because we self-support who we are as an energy field, that the universe will always gift us what we need to eat, to live with, to clothe ourselves if we want, to look pretty if we want, to have a house if we want. It's a totally different mindset though. It's not the same as what it would have been in the past. And it is a transition to move towards that. But the first acknowledgement is to realize that you are source energy going on a journey, just like a bug is, just like a plant is, just like an animal is. We are all love going on a journey. And when we're using this body as an avatar, and we can use this world as a playground, that's where the adventures come in, and that's where it gets exciting. So the flow of what will come out of this, when we start to release and realize what we don't need in the moment, we can let go and let somebody else use. It will turn everything around, because then we start to share what we have with those that are in our immediate surroundings, our neighborhoods, our towns, even our cities. And then with that, money isn't necessary, because we have faith. And people will go, faith? Yeah, what's that going to give me? But they don't have faith in themselves while they say that. This has to come from an absolute self-support of knowing who you are going on this journey. And that you are part of a whole. You're not just an individual. You are something that there's an ebb and flow of other people, even other animals, other plants that want to nurture you. Everything has its lifespan of short and long. Allow the process to happen. When you're in your immediate space, if someone needs help, give it to them, because they're in your space for purpose, for reason, for you to be there to help, and so forth. And nature can actually rely on us. It will be there for us as well. So there's this whole give and take, ebb and flow. Life becomes different. It's a beautiful message, and I'm really grateful for it. So that's my message for today from the Cyanians and me. Bye.